I've got something really exciting to share with you all. I got my first order of my children's books on YouTube. So one of my subscribers reached out and want to buy my children's books, Puppy Rescue and Tiger, and it's, oh my God, I really didn't think that this would happen on YouTube, that I'd sell my books. I don't know why, but it's absolutely made my month. It's only November, I know, but it's made my day. It's just so exciting, and I want to share it with you, and you know, I just want to share a little bit about why I've even written these children's books, because it's a phenomenal story how it actually came about. So where do I start? So back in 2017, when I was married to a comedian, and he was performing on cruise ships quite a bit, and we had a show together called The Dream Guards, and we went into schools empowering kids to stand up to bullying and using my peace tools. And while he was about to travel on one of the cruises and do his comedy shows, one of his fellow entertainers reached out to him on Messenger and said, look, we really need to come up with a way to make more income while we're on the cruises. Apart from just getting paid to do our show, there must be a way that we can also have something to sell, something tangible to sell to the guests who want to connect with us. And so his friend said, I think we should write a book each. You write a book about your life and I write a book about my life. And we're going to keep each other accountable and check in once a week and share a chapter each, so that we stay on track and that we make sure that we're actually putting this in action. What do you reckon? And my ex-husband said, absolutely, for sure. Sounds like an awesome idea. I think there's a book in me. He got off the phone and then he turned to me and he said, what about you? Are you in on this challenge? And I'm like, okay, why not? I don't know what I'm going to write about, but let's do it. Okay, I'm always up for a challenge. So he got on a cruise ship, and within about 48 hours, this message was downloaded to me from the universe, whatever you want to call it. And it was a message about me writing children's books about my daughter Jess and her rescue dog Rockstar. And it had to be empowering. It had to have resources and beautiful, compassionate messages to children. But it was from Rockstar, the dog, teaching Jess those lessons. And all of a sudden, I just started writing. And I started writing. And the first book was Puppy Rescue. Now, I want to just take this back a few more years. When I was a little girl, the first foster home I went to after my mother was murdered, a lovely Catholic woman, and she was a single mum, had 2 young daughters, and she was the only kind foster parent that I ever had in the 13 foster homes I went to. And she used to read children's books to me in bed at night. And these books just enabled me to escape the reality of my trauma and what had been going on in my life as a 7-year-old for a few moments, and escape into the story. And it gave me so much peace for a few moments in my life. And years later, the New Zealand government had a huge compensation claim going to just recognise all of the children that had been, abused and not cared for in the foster care system in New Zealand. And after about 4 years of researching my file, and they came to Australia and they interviewed me, they offered me some compensation. Now, it wasn't a lot of compensation, And I decided to put that money aside in a bank because I wanted that money to make an impact on children's lives because of my experience. I didn't want it to just be dwindled away and mean nothing. I wanted it to have a meaning, this money. So that's what I did. Now, I'm writing this first book, Puppy Rescue, and I think, wow, this is actually pretty cool. So I read it to my husband at the time on the phone while he's on the cruise ship, and he goes, oh, I love it. And I knew a publisher, Ocean Reef, and so I reached out to him on a Sunday. It was a rainy Sunday, and I said, look, I've got a children's book I've written. I wondered if I could read it to you. And because I'm a children's entertainer, I was able to kind of put the character to the different people, the different characters in the story. I was able to put some expression and voice into it, and so that's what I did. He said, call me and read some of it to me. So and then when I rang, he said, well, it's a rainy, yucky day. I've got nothing else to do. Just read me the book. Now, I think it was about, I don't know, I'm not sure now, was it 900 words or something? It wasn't a lot, wasn't a big book because, it's a children's book. Anyway, I read Puppy Rescue to him, and he said, wow, I love this story, and not only do I love the story, but I love the way that you read it. This story needs to be narrated, and there needs to be an audio version and maybe even an animated audio version. He said, but the thing is this a one-off book or is this a series? Because you're saying, the adventures of Jessie and Rocky Rockstar, which kind of indicates that it's a series and not just a one-off book. He said, if that's the case, you really need to write another book, and then what we're going to do is we're going to publish them together so that the market knows that it is actually a series and not just a book. And I'm like, what? I've got to write another book now. So I pondered for a while, and I thought, okay, what's this other book going to be? And then I thought, okay, well, it's following on from Puppy Rescue, and it's got to follow on about Rocky and the story, and maybe something that's happened, when we've been out and about with Rocky. And so the second book is called Tiger, because every time Jess and I walked Rocky around the neighbourhood, around the beaches, the parks, little children and parents would say, wow, look, he looks like a tiger. He's got tiger stripes and he looks like a tiger. And this was a comment that was expressed over and over to us as we were walking Rocky. And so I thought the next book's got to be Tiger. And so I wrote these two books. And then when I published them, I decided to do a print run, a decent print run, because I don't know, I just believed in these books. So I did the hardcover, beautiful hardcover books for children 10 and under, and I decided to do a run of these books. So I have quite a few of these books in storage. Anyway, when I produced these books and had them printed, almost to the dollar, the amount that I spent on publishing these books was the same amount of money that I had been safekeeping. I had in an account from the compensation money that was given to me for the abuse that I experienced in foster care, almost to the dollar. It was like so purposeful. It was like these books were meant to be, and this money was there for this purpose. And it's like a full cycle of life has come back through these books, because not only was I a foster child, but Rocky Rockstar, who we rescued from a foster home. And so he's a foster dog and I'm a foster child, and these books have come about from compensation money that has enabled me to get these books printed and get them out into the market. And so the beautiful stories about the adorable bond between my daughter and Rocky Rockstar, and the beautiful life lessons that he teaches her about kindness and compassion and looking after animals. And so I'm just like blown away. I had my first ever book order on YouTube, and I just wanted to tell you all that I'm just so excited about it. I had to share it with you today. Thank you everybody for supporting me. Thank you so much for just all of your beautiful encouragement and your kind and compassionate words, and just, you know, all the feedback that you've given me on my videos and the value that you're getting out of what I'm sharing, the places I've been to, the caravan parks I've stayed at, you know, my stories, my ups and downs of van life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being there. And yeah, celebration time. Thank you.
If you have just tuned into my YouTube channel, my name is Donna-Leigh Perfect. I'm a solo female van lifer in Australia, and I drive around in my Toyota Hiace Van Halen. And I'm a 3 times published author. I have a children's series called The Adventures of Jessie and Rockstar. I'm also a keynote speaker on the topics of bullying, domestic violence, and resilience. And I'm a children's entertainer and have a show called The Resilient Rockstar Show. I hope you enjoy my videos, and please take a moment just to hit the subscribe button to support me.